everything. Ursula was clearly taken by them. Tommen was walking in the same direction and Robert, of course, listens to what them Starks have to say more than he does her or their children, which was a ridiculous notion to her. Her poor Joffrey, her last hope besides Jaime, bled and bitten by those monstrosities of animals, and what he got was scolding from his craven father. This weakened their power and by a lot, for it made the world see that they are weak, as no Stark was punished, nor the direwolves nor the butcher's boy nor anything, and this was making her mad. Perhaps it would be better for her to simply get disposed of Robert, making him die of something and cut the disease before it could spread. The only problem was that it was too soon, especially when she lost a fight with the Starks. Robert still looks as healthy as a giant fat man can be, and so anyone would suspect poison, and that could lead to her. No, she needed another way, another option. Thinking about poison made her remember Jon Arryn. The fool was up to something, but someone took him out before he could reveal whatever he was searching for. But the question wasn't really what that old fart had been looking for, but rather who killed him. Jaime wouldn't do it, of course. He is an honorable fool like Robert in this matter. Father had no reason to either. The little monster wouldn't do it, so who could it have been? If such person was still at bay, then they are a threat to her and her children, but she also fears what Stannis might have known as much as Jon Arryn. For some reason, she felt that Eddard Stark would suggest that Baratheon fool as the next hand. Things weren't looking too well and she needed to fix that, and the sooner the better. She decided to think who was on her side and who she could count on. Jaime was the only person whom she fully trusted. Then there was her family, and most importantly her father. Sir Boros and Sir Meryn were her pawns. Sir Preston was a Westerman, so more prone to be influenced by her, especially with some incentives. The rest of the Kingsguard will do as the king says. She had some spies to count with. Pycelle was her father's creature and likely hers as well. Littlefinger is likely an asset as well, but she was outnumbered in the small council, which wasn't good. Therefore she concluded that half of the Kingsguard was on her side and she could not count on the small council. Joffrey was seated alone in the grass, Clegane in a considerable distance from him, and she approached her son. "Joff," she called. "I want them punished, mother." Her son said bitterly. "I want them all punished for this insult. And they will be my love," she said as she brought her son for a hug. "No one dares to defy our family, and the Starks will know of it soon enough. I will make sure the prophecy doesn't occur as well. I will remain the queen and my children will get the throne when that fat oaf dies, and no one will stop that, not even the Starks." Cassanar Baratheon 4. King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. It was dawning soon and the captain of the ship said they were going to moor in 10 minutes or so. Cass could not sleep at all with the excitement of being mostly alone in the capital. It was a bold decision on her part, but she would not falter so close to her goal, finding her much-needed answers. Gian, on the other hand, was sleeping like a baby in his cabin, as he always slept till midday or later if left to himself, so she decided to go wake him up so he could get ready to land. She came to his door and knocked on it. "Gian," she called. "We are mooring soon." Since she heard no reply nor noise, she got worried and sought if the door was open, which it was, and so she opened it and entered, quickly seeing if he was all right. It was dark inside with not much light but the candle she had at hand. There stood Gian laid in bed, sleeping as if she wasn't calling him, but he seemed odd. "Lena," she heard him whisper. "Lena, I'm going to save you. They will not kill you." Who was Lena? "They will not rape you. I won't let them." "No, don't, no." Gian then woke up abruptly, panting and sweating, and with his shout and sudden move, she jumped frightened as she wasn't expecting this. "Cass," he squealed as he panted and sweated. "What are you doing here?" She tried to compose herself from the fright, but as she did, she noticed he was not wearing a shirt nor anything to cover himself, and his muscles were all sweaty. Luckily the sheets were covering his privates, but it was enough to make her blush with the sight, and she was surprised since she never blushed like this before. Perhaps it had to do with her being a woman now. After all, she had her first flowering a year ago, but still. I called you but you did not answer, so I got worried something bad might have happened to you," she explained while regaining her composure and trying to avert her gaze from him. "I'm fine," he said. "It seems it was just a dream." "Who is Lena?" she inquired, confused as to who was this Lena he thought about in his dreams. "Are we mooring?" he asked, trying to change the subject of the talk, clearly not wanting to talk about this Lena. "I asked you a question," she insisted. "And I believe I already gave you my answer." "Fine," she sighed as it seems she was back at square one. If you wish to play this game once more, we will play it. And yes, we are indeed mooring in about 10 minutes or so. Then I better get dressed, he concluded as he rubbed his eyes. Yes. Aren't you supposed to leave the room? Wait, are you blushing? By the seven, what is happening to me? Gods no, I'm not, she said as she quickly left the room, panting and likely blushing even more. What is happening to me? This is not me, this is not Cassandra Baratheon. It took some time, but finally, she was calm. She was waiting outside of his cabin for a few minutes, still ashamed of her behavior, when Gian finally emerged, fully dressed and yawning. Hello again, he said. Nothing happened there in your cabin, okay, she quickly said. I saw nothing, heard nothing, and said nothing, he assured. Good, let us go. It took a minute or so more before they could finally step on the capital soil, and so they rented 2 horses at a nearby inn and rode to the Red Keep in them. No matter how many times she visited King's Landing, the huge crowds of people always fascinated her. The road to the Red Keep was rather short. They arrived as dawn did. The gold cloaks made them stop their pace, just as in the last time she visited with her mother. Who goes there? One of them asked. Lady Cassandra Baratheon, daughter of Lord Stannis Baratheon, the king's brother, and Lady Catelyn Tully, she proclaimed. With me comes Gian Valerian, nephew of Lord Montfort Valerian of Driftmark. The king is not here, milady. The man said. We are instructed to lead highborn people to the small council's chambers, where they can be received by one of its members. I see no problem with it, she admitted. Do make your job, thank you in advance. Both she and Gian unhorsed and gave their horses to the stable boys and were led to the small council's chambers by 6 gold cloaks. There they were received by Lord Varys, the eunuch and master of whisperers. Ah, my Lady Cassandra and my Lord Gian, what a pleasant surprise to find you both at the capital. The man said with a pleasant smile. Father spoke often of him, as the man that knew all the secrets in King's Landing and beyond. Perhaps he would know what happened with her father, but perhaps he was not trustworthy. She couldn't take any risks. The pleasure is our, Lord Varys. Thank you for receiving us with such short notice, she thanked with her own pleasant smile. Unfortunately your uncles have not yet arrived. The older man said. They shouldn't take too long, however, my lady. I have heard they are a couple of days away from here, and I'm quite sure they will be rejoicing with your presence. I will be too, she confessed. It has been a while since I last saw them. I will have the servants prepare 2 rooms for each of you. Lord Varys said. I hope that your staying at the Red Keep is as pleasant as it can be. We hope so too, she said. A while later, both she and Gian were being led by some female servants to their rooms. So, what do you think, Gian? I think nothing yet, he said. I have been here for an hour or so. It's too early to formulate an opinion, but soon enough I will tell you what I think, that is if you still wish to hear it. Sounds good to me, she smiled. Somehow the image of him bare-chested was still haunting her. We will find out what happened here with my father, she proclaimed as she tried to make the image leave her. I want to see it with my own eyes. I'm sure you know that it will not be the most pleasant of things. All the same, I must learn the good and the unpleasant, Gian, she said. As of now I'm my father's heir, and it's likely for me to be Lady of Dragonstone when he dies, and when that happens, I intend to be ready. I believe I will be able to learn a lot of things here where the vipers lurk, just as my father likely did. That is a good way to see this whole thing, Gian agreed. Maybe your father will not punish you too much if you prove to him that you have improved yourself. I know he will, she assured him. And I will prove myself as well. Arianne Martell I. Sunspear, Dawn, year 298 AC. Arianne was eating a meal by herself. It was close to midday, but she hadn't taken her breakfast, mostly because in the day before she and her cousins had been drinking far too much. Nym was likely still sleeping with Fowler twins, as no doubt they shared their bed in the previous night, and Tyen was not a morning person either, but since it was so hot already they would eventually show their faces. She sighed as she ate a loaf of bread with blood orange jam on top, remembering that day almost a decade ago when she found that letter her father intended to send Quentyn, about how her brother would one day sit in their father's chair, ignoring her rights completely. Arianne always gave her best in her lessons. She made sure she memorized everything, every House of Dawn and their feuds, and some other outside of her homeland too. She made her best to learn to account numbers, she made her best to know the laws, and yet father still wanted Quentin as his heir, not heir. Why the sad face, my beautiful niece? Her uncle Oberyn asked with a big grin as he took a seat in front of her. I'm still tired, Nuncle, she replied as she found better to leave the real reason why she was sad hidden. You and my girls exaggerated a bit yesterday, have you not? He asked amused. Cousin Mamfrey said you all looked a bit too much joyful. Perhaps, she agreed smirking. But you seem quite happy yourself, Nuncle. Is Ellaria pregnant once more? In reality, she loved all her cousins and the younger ones were especially adorable, so another little snake wouldn't hurt too much. I wished she was, but I'm afraid it was not the case, he said. I have gotten some interesting news coming from the capital. News from the capital? She asked surprised. Indeed, it seems Robert Baratheon chose his friend Eddard Stark to be Hand of the King, he explained. Another usurper's dog, as expected, she scoffed bitterly, remembering her Aunt Elia's cruel death and of her other cousins too. But this one has a thing that can be interesting for us, my beautiful niece, uncle said. Eddard Stark's wife is Ashera Dayne. Ashera Dayne? Wasn't Lady Ashera, Aunt Elia's best friend? Arianne inquired as she remembered what her uncle told her so many times in the stories about Aunt Elia. She was and still is, I'm sure. Her uncle stated. One does not simply forget a best friend, especially one like Elia, and I know Ashera too well to know too. But she is married to one of the lapdogs. She is, but I do believe she has a leash over her husband, he said. And as far as the letters she sent me, neither she nor her husband were happy with Elia's murder. So you think you can get to the mountain through them? She asked curiously. I will see what I can do. Her uncle said with a smirk. I do wish to see my friend in person once more. I have missed her beauty and want to see if she grew into ice. He broke into laughter as he said this. And I miss the smell of shit from that ugly city. So her uncle was visiting the capital. She felt sad, for she had to remain and organize parties and other useless nonsense. I wish you luck, Nuncle. His face got more serious as he sounded amazed by her statement. You don't wish to come? Father wouldn't want me to. Worry not about him. Her uncle dismissed. You have been unhappy for a while now, and I think a little trip to the worst-smelling city might cheer you up a bit, said her uncle. We should bring my oldest daughters as well if they wish to travel with us. Oh uncle, do you mean so? She was still apprehensive, for it sounded too good to be true. Is that even a question, Arianne? He asked, faking an expression of hurt. As long as you and my beautiful daughters listen to me and Ellaria, I'm sure everything will be fine. We will be good girls, Nuncle, she said as she embraced her uncle tightly. Thank you, you are the best. I know, but you don't have to spoil me so, he said laughing, and she followed his suit. Now go on and tell your older cousins about this trip. Right away, she nodded as she went straight to Tyrine's room. Oh, she is going to love this. Notes. Okay, so, first of all, I struggled too much with this chapter and I don't know why, but anyway it's here. Bear in mind that some explanations are my interpretation of things like why did Varys and Illyrio married Daenerys away and so forth. Now to what everyone is waiting for. I decided to declare Val the winner as she got more votes in the first round and doesn't seem like it will change if I make a second round. I'm deeply sorry for all those Jon Forward/Margaery fans and everyone who didn't vote in Val. Please, if you have to criticize, be polite about it, don't curse. Without further ado, thank you for sparing time reading and I hope everyone has a nice day. Chapter 9, Uncle's Favorite Niece. Notes. See the end of the chapter for notes. Chapter text. Arya Stark I. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. Her brother fell flat-faced on the floor yet again and so punched the ground bitterly. Can we stop it now? He asked. We have been here for hours. No, I have to keep practicing. Arya insisted. She would never allow anyone to come as close as to take her life as that stupid prince was. She had the blood of the Starks of old, the Danes and of Nymeria. She couldn't let herself be bested nor be afraid as she was. I must get better. But I'm tired, Arya. Bran scoffed as he stood up. I want to eat something. If we were reading you wouldn't complain, would you? I would. I'm hungry and tired from the voyage. Her older brother insisted. Please let me go. No. Arya, she heard Roz call, and when she looked towards her, Arya noticed that Roz's arms were crossed and she had an annoyed expression carved in her face. Call it a day. But. No buts, young woman. Roz plainly said. You are being selfish and unfair with your brother. If you keep this up, I will forbid you from practicing swordplay the rest of the month, if not for longer. But Roz, she tried to counter, as she did not wish to lose the right to train. She needed to train, couldn't Roz see it? No excuses, Arya. The older woman insisted. I understand how you feel, but you are abusing your brother's goodwill, and that I cannot allow. She sighed bitterly. Fine, you can go and eat bran. Finally. Her brother proclaimed. Thank you for saving me, Roz. And then he quickly tried to leave the courtyard. Stupid. You are welcome. Roz smiled a pretty smile as she approached Arya and brought her closer. I know you are angry that the prince almost killed you, Arya, and believe me, I am angry too, with him and with me, as I should have been watching you closely and failed in my job, so you have my apologies. It wasn't your fault, Arya said, feeling sad as Roz felt this way when it was more of Arya's fault for hiding from her and mother. All the same, if you died, I would have been crushed, Roz admitted with what looked like tears forming in her beautiful greyish-blue eyes. I love you all as if we were kin. As if we were siblings or cousins. Arya's eyes were also becoming wetter, it seemed. I love you too, Roz, you are family to me. A smile drew itself on Roz's face. Thank you, Arya, those words mean a lot to me, my sweet, she said. But I must tell you that training like this will not help you one bit. Then how can I become better if I don't train? She asked, confused. You won't. Then you are proving my point. Arya said. But I'm not invalidating mine. Roz smirked as she passed her arm through her eyes. What does that mean? You will find soon enough, my dear, Roz assured as she patted Arya's back. But right now, you shall not hear anything from this woman's mouth. Indeed you will not. It was Mother who spoke now. Someone is letting some things that should be kept hidden be brought forward, Mother said as she eyed Roz with narrow eyes but with a smile. Looks like I got myself into some trouble, Roz said with a troublemaker's face. Oh well, I better go and eat. Yes, you better go, you naughty one. Mother said as he Roz quicken away from them. And you too, my lovely daughter, dinner is waiting for you. Is father joining us? She inquired. He is. He arrived a few minutes ago and he is looking forward to having dinner with his well-behaved children. Mother said. I will behave well. Arya avowed. I know you will, now let's fill our stomachs. Mother said as she led her forward into the Tower of the Hand. And know that your mother loves you and will not let any harm come to you. Arya glanced her and saw her mother smiling at her. I love you too, Mother. Cassina Baratheon v. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. Cass, she heard her Uncle Robert shout as soon as he saw her. She and Gian were finishing their dinner in the maiden vault where they took residence ever since they arrived. My beautiful niece. She got up and happily embraced her Uncle Robert. Nuncle, it's good to see you. You too. Gods, you look like a woman already, a beautiful one as well. Her uncle said as he eyed from up and down. It's hard to think you came from Stannis' seed, but then again you are Lady Catelyn's daughter. Nuncle, she hissed bitterly. She loved him dearly, but she would not forgive him for insulting her father. Don't say such things about my father, I do not like it. Sorry, her uncle said with a more grim expression. I meant those words I said about you, you look beautiful. She smiled even though she didn't see herself as that beautiful at all. I'm not that pretty. I'm just a regular-looking woman. Your Uncle Robert is right, Cass. Uncle Renly said with the same smile as his brother. You will make a lot of women envy here, you are truly a beauty. And to think that my brother kept you in that moisty hell for what? 5 years. It's not that bad of a place to live, I do admit that the frequent rains are troublesome, she said. And it's good to see you too, Uncle Renly, she proclaimed while she embraced her other uncle whom she loved dearly too. And yes, it has been 5 years since I visited Storm's End. You should pass by some time. Her uncle suggested. I'm quite sure the people there will be delighted to see Cass the Mighty fighting evil monsters in the halls of our ancestral home once more. Nuncle, she barked as she began blushing upon being remembered of the nickname she gave to herself when she was younger to find evildoers in Storm's End and Dragonstone and whatever place she visited. Now it was quite embarrassing to remember even if she held dear those memories. Her Uncle Robert broke into laughter as well. Ah, Cass the Mighty, I still remember that one. You both are the worse, she muttered as she glanced her cousins Myrcella and Tommen by the door still, looking at her warily. Last time she saw them, Myrcella had been a year-old girl and Tommen a newborn child, so it was quite normal for them to not recognize her at all. Hello there fellow cousins, she said with a warm smile in hopes to make them less afraid as she moved towards them. Hello, cousin Cassina, Myrcella said with a smile of her own, seemingly less afraid now. I'm pleased to meet you. Hello, Tommen wasn't so confident yet, but it would pass, she was sure. You two were barely more than babes when I saw you for the first time, now you are handsome young lads, she proclaimed. It's nice to finally meet you both. Both of her cousins smiled and embraced her for a hug. Where is Joffrey? Her uncle asked with an angered face. He said he felt indisposed, father. Little Tommen said, a bit frightened. Mother said he should rest and meet cousin Cassina some other time. She was now remembering that little devil of a cousin she had who, because she defeated him in a child fight last time she was there, decided that he had to humiliate her by calling her ugly and more mean names in front of the lords who were a bunch of cunts and laughed at her. She was not looking forward to meeting him and she was glad he wasn't either. Indisposed, her uncle said with disdain. He better be, damn kid, is only good to torment and kill poor animals. And get his ass kicked by a skinny little girl, her Uncle Renly whispered to her so that only she could hear, and she looked towards him abashed. What? I will tell you some other time, Cass, he whispered back as her Uncle Robert moved to stand in front of Gian, who had stood up as soon as the king entered the room. And who might you be? Gian Valerian, your grace. Valerian, her uncle looked towards her friend with a certain disdain. He is my friend and sworn shield, nuncle. Cass intervened with half a lie. He came with me to provide me company. Did he? Her uncle said while glancing Gian with a raised eyebrow. Her friend in turn never said a word and stared with an expressionless face. I hope he isn't what I'm thinking, is he? At first, she wondered what he meant, but then when she saw Gian turning redder she understood what he meant. Nuncle, she hissed with embarrassment. We aren't lovers. Thank the gods you are not. I fear to think what my good brother Stannis would do to this lad, Uncle Renly remarked as he laughed. Poor lad would find himself gelded. Nuncle. All the same. Uncle Robert spoke. I will keep my watch on you, Valerian. Don't you even try and betray my niece for some Targaryens. I would kill myself before that could happen, your grace, Gian said. I don't betray friends, the Targaryens are not my friends, unlike your niece. Her uncle glanced him from up and down and then frowned. You should have joined us at dinner, Cass. I'm quite well here, she dismissed his invention. I prefer less crowded areas. All the same, I expect you at my table tomorrow. You and the Starks too, he said. Now I will let you and your friend eat at peace. Come on, children. Can I spend time together with the Starks tomorrow? Little Myrcella asked as they retired. Mother doesn't let me. Sure, go on. Her uncle proclaimed. Don't know what goes into your mother's mind to refuse such a normal thing. Thank you, father. And with that, they were out of Cassina's view. Cassina took a seat again and eyed Gian. I apologize for my uncle's behavior, it wasn't proper. It's perfectly understandable that they are wary of me. Gian dismissed. That too, but mostly about us being lovers, she blushed. It was ill done. Well, your Uncle Renly would be quite right in regards to what your father would do to me, would it be true, he said expressionlessly. Anyway, I didn't take any of it as an offense, for it was false. Yes, all false, let's just eat in peace, she concluded. Ashura Dane v. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. The bathtub wasn't as large as the one Ned had built for her at Winterfell, but it would definitely work for the function it was meant. As expected, she was already diving in the perfectly tempered water while Ned was finishing getting undressed and just about to join her. There we go, Ned sighed in relief when he took a seat inside the bathtub. I just arrived in this shitty-smelling city and I'm so tired already. Was it that bad? She asked while she dried her face after emerging from underwater. I know I was supposed to analyze the other members of the council as you told me to, but once Renly Baratheon shared with us apartment that had Robert's will written in it, I just lost it. Ned said. And what did Robert want? She asked, somehow fearing the worst. To organize a tourney in my name, he murmured. 40,000 dragons for the winner, 20 for the second and the same amount for the winner of the melee, together with another 10,000 for the best archer. 90,000 dragons, she asked aghast. That is a third of Harrenhal's prizes. And that is not the end of it, Ned warned. I found out the crown is 6 million dragons in debt. 6 million dragons, she shouted aghast, her heart stopping for a second with the abashment. It is not possible. It is, Ned sighed. Lord Baelish, the Master of Coin, will have to borrow more than 100,000 dragons to organize this bloody foolish tourney, and this is all in my name, Ash. It seemed things were much worse than what any of them could anticipate. With a debt so large, there is no way you can fix the realm's troubles with just a year. You only be able to gather a sixth of it, a fifth at the very best. I just wonder how it got to this, he sighed yet again. When the rebellion ended, the treasury was still full, even if the Mad King spent quite a lot in the army. I mean, I know Robert was always a proficient spender, but this is ridiculous. And with the taxes they collect every year from all 7 kingdoms, she added. It makes no sense. I do not know the numbers, but I would say the crown would at the very least receive 500,000 dragons in taxes per year. I don't understand this. Jon was never a great spender, he always had the coffers of the Vale full, he couldn't have allowed this madness to happen. Something was amiss, it had to be, but what and why? And do you happen to know who the creditors are? She inquired. Half of the debt is to the Lannisters, Ned said with disdain. But Lord Tyrell, the Iron Bank, some Tiroshi trading cartels and even the Faith have lent money to the crown. Even the Faith. This was ridiculous now, and it seemed that the dependence of the crown towards the Lannisters was larger than what she had anticipated. They had Robert in their pockets. The variety of sources of credit assures that the crown is not fully dependent on a single entity. However, it's 2 great lords that know of the crown's weak coffers, and they happen to be the strongest and the second strongest. Indeed, her husband agreed. I told the other councillors I would try my best to convince Robert into giving up on the idea of this tourney, but they all seemed as if I was speaking some sort of blasphemy. Perhaps I was. This is not the Robert the First once knew anyway. Giving it a try doesn't hurt, though I must agree with them, she confessed. I don't think you will be able to convince Robert to forsaken this particular tourney. If such things were to happen, then I will not have another bloody tourney whilst I fulfill my term as Hand. Ned decided. I won't let him spend this amount of money in my name or anything else, it's just ridiculous. Then do tell him so, Ashura said as she approached him and rested her head on his shoulder. Don't hold back, you have to stand your ground as you have been doing. I will do my best, he said while he leaned his head to touch hers. And what did you see in the other councillors? She asked. I know you did not pay the attention you wished, but still. Varys is still Varys. That line made her laugh. I think I know him and Pycelle well enough, she proclaimed. I have seen them in action before. We can't ignore them fully, but I am more interested in the others. Lord Stannis, the Master of Ships, left for Dragonstone when Robert went to Winterfell, and no one seems to know why, Ned explained. Though it seems his daughter arrived almost a week ago with a companion. It does sound odd that Lord Stannis left, she admitted. Maybe I can have a conversation with his daughter sometime soon, see what she can tell me. And why did she come? I don't know, Ned confessed. I have never seen the girl before, I don't know how she is nor how she acts. Then I guess it falls to me to find out, she told him. It shouldn't be too hard. Be it as it may, I don't think Lord Stannis nor Lord Renly are a threat to Robert, Ned said. Their relationship may not be the best, but I doubt they would go against their brother. You ought to expect everything by now, Ashura warned him. Expect the unexpected. I know, he said with his shy smile. Lord Baelish, on the other hand, seems to be adamant in annoying me with pesky talk. You said the man was the Master of Coin, but who is he? She asked curiously. Brandon spoke of him a few times. Ned began explaining. and I learned a little something about his house while at the Uri. He is from a very recently formed house of landed knights whose origins lay in Braavos. House Baelish holds a small tower in the smallest of the fingers. Brandon knew him. He challenged Brandon to a duel for Lady Catelyn's hand back then. You can imagine how that turned out. Badly, she asked, but she sort of already knew the answer to her question. Indeed, it seems the man carries a scar or something of the sort still. Ned added. Brandon was very imposing and strong, she admitted. I assume Lord Baelish isn't so. Baelish is smaller than you and lean. He doesn't seem threatening but does seem to have a sharp tongue, Ned explained. A sharp tongue did not help him win against Brandon. Sharp tongue, sharp mind. I see, the poor man will have to borrow more money for Robert's nonsense. It seems so, gods that man never learns, Ned sighed. Maybe, she began as she picked his hand, brought it to her breasts. You and I should forget about this nonsense for the rest of the night. It was just the first day, we have a full long year ahead of us. I don't look forward to that as much as I look for what is coming next. His lips met her nipples and then he began suckling them, while she of course moaned. A whole year in the capital, he whispered as he switched around between her nipples. How troublesome. A good thing, we have each other, she purred. It would be unbearable with you for sure, he said as their lips met and stayed together for almost a full minute. A beautiful wife always warms a man's heart, doesn't she? She teased while she took hold of his cock and mouthed it, just the way he liked. You know me too, well. Afterward, she was done with her part, she was rewarded with his marvelous tongue on her cunt. She hoped the room was soundproof. When he found her wet enough down below, he turned her around, entered her, and before he began pounding her, he gave her a massage. It was a trick he developed over the years. It was enough to make her lose her focus and succumb to pleasure. This was the chance he always searched for. As he began his movement, making her scream in ecstasy, she came undone first. It was too much for her to take and he didn't resist that long either. They both began washing each other up in between kisses and then he picked her up and laid her on their bed. A comfortable bed at last, she giggled. Indeed, he smiled as he pressed another kiss onto her lips. But I can't help but feel a bit uncomfortable. This was where Jon slept. And Tywin Lannister, she murmured and laughed with the disdained face of her husband and lover. Now I'm really uncomfortable. I would say this bed is still capable of enduring us, she whispered. Not sure about the room being able to hold my moans. You will know tomorrow, he said, laughing. I would like to see if I can sleep. I must resume the meeting of the small council in the morrow. I was planning to visit Sunshine Orphanage with the girls, see how things are. I imagine not well enough since we all left. She was talking of her, Elia and the other ladies in waiting. Ashura kept sending money from Winterfell, but it wasn't as much as it once was. She hoped it was still standing and doing what it once did. It will do well for the girls to see how lucky they are in life and hopefully make them more humble and charitable. Indeed, he agreed, though she saw he was still worried about something. What else is troubling you, my love? She inquired as she rested her chin on his chest. When I saw Varys, I thought about my nephew once again. He was speaking of Lyanna's son who her brother Arthur took with him to Essos in order to protect him from Robert and the Lannisters. I wonder how he is, how he has been for the past 15 years. He is with Arthur, and though my brother doesn't carry Dawn with him anymore, he is still deadly with a regular sword at hand, she assured. You don't need to be worried. It's just that she made me promise I would protect the boy and I have done almost nothing, he sighed. I wish I could have given him a proper childhood together with our children, but Robert would kill the child once he got word of him, a boy with Rhaegar's coloring. It was impossible, and after what happened with Elia and her children. Lyanna's boy is safe, Ned, she assured him with a kiss. Arthur will protect him and you know it, and I know Lyanna holds no grudge against you. She loved you dearly and would understand the arrangement you made with the spider. Perhaps, he sighed yet again. Now you must sleep, my dear husband. Tomorrow is a big day. She kissed his forehead and left his embrace to lay properly on the bed. He stood up and pressed his lips on her forehead as well. You too, my shining star. And they fell asleep, tired of the long journey and the thought of the hard year they would have to face. Notes. And here is another chapter. Thank you for sparing time reading and I hope everyone has a nice day. Chapter 10, Potential. Notes. See the end of the chapter for notes. Chapter text. Myrcella Baratheon 2. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. Myrcella had never seen such a lively breakfast as this one. Father and Uncle Renly were all merrily as they teased Cousin Cassina with episodes from her childhood. Mother and Joffrey did not look too pleased with it all. Tommen was a bit overwhelmed with father and uncle's laughter but smiled on the funnier episodes while Myrcella was feeling the same along with a big feeling of curiosity. Ah, and there was that time she ran from the Septa, father said laughing. Neither the woman nor Lady Catelyn could catch Cass the Mighty as she ran through the halls of the Red Keep like that bloody black tomcat who stole a roast quail from Lord Tywine. Oh gods, now I'm remembering that. Uncle Renly was laughing too and Cousin Cassina was smiling. It was fun while it lasted, Nuncle Cassina said. My mother did not allow me leave my room except during meals for 6 entire months. Bar you were just having fun, I don't see why she had to reprimand you so heavily, father said. Seriously, that woman is perfect for Stannis. What is done, Nuncle. Cousin Cassina said. I'm not in the mood to run through the halls again like a little devil anyway. Father Myrcella called, making them all look towards her. I have finished my breakfast, may I be excused? I wish to go meet the Starks. Sure. Father agreed and she was already standing up when trouble came. Myrcella, I have told you to not meet the Starks. Mother said in a commanding tone. Septa Eglantine will be called sooner, so why can't she go meet the Starks woman? Father asked, an indignant look on his face. She has her lessons with the Septa, the others take the Septa. Father barked. The girl knows her bloody prayers already. Let the girl have some fun with children of her age. Mother's eyes narrowed, she didn't like this. The education of our children is in my hands, she proclaimed. Therefore I know what is best for her. What a wonderful education you have provided them, they have no bloody friends nor companions, father muttered. When I was their age I had half a dozen good friends already. By the time I was Joffrey's age I had thrice as many, and I wasn't killing cats or attacking little children with the intent to kill them for no bloody reason. How dare you speak such filth to your son? Mother hissed. They attacked him. Quiet, woman. Father roared and Myrcella shook frightened. I'm their father, and I have a bloody saying in their education as well. I say Myrcella and Tommen will be spending their days with the Starks to gain some bloody friends if they so wish, that's the end of it. Mother kept glancing father until she contained her anger and resumed her breakfast. She was not happy with the arrangement but Myrcella was. She wished to spend time with Ros, Lyanna, Jane, Lady Stark and Arya of course, and she was sure Tommen would like to spend some time with Brandon Stark, who by Tommen's accounts had a vast knowledge from books. May I join you both? Cousin Cassina inquired with a smile. I wish to get to know you both better while I'm here, and I can certainly take this opportunity to meet the Starks of Winterfell. Sure, Myrcella said. You will like the Starks, I'm sure, cousin. Have you started the tourney preparations? Father asked Uncle Renly, while Myrcella and Cousin Cassina waited for Tommen to finish his breakfast. Lord Stark wasn't pleased to hear about it. I believe he wished to speak to you about it. Uncle Renly said as he led a cup of water to his mouth. God's that grim fool, no doubt he wishes me to cancel it. Father spoke. You two resolve the issue amongst yourself. I'm already thinking of ways to set it up. Uncle said. Anyway, I have a council meeting to attend soon, so rest of good day to you all. And with a smile and nod to all of them, he left the room. Myrcella glanced her younger brother once more. She was worried that mother would somehow convince father to change his resolve. Luckily Tommen had just finished his food. I'm ready, he said. Let us go then. Myrcella commanded excitedly. They exited the throne room followed by Sir Aris Oakurt, her sworn shield, and Sir Preston Greenfield, who was her brother's. They also found Cousin Cassina's friend, Gian, she believed, arms crossed and back against the wall of the building. Gian. Her cousin called with a smile. I hope you didn't wait too long for us. I'm fine, Cass. The man said with a shy smile. Good morning, my prince and princess. Good morning, my lord. Both she and her brother replied as courtesy demanded. Sirs. The Valyrian knight nodded to the King's Guard's knights, but they merely acknowledged him. Gian, we are going to meet the Starks. Cousin Cassina informed him. Feel free to join us. I don't wish to abuse my hospitality. Don't be like that. Her cousin said whilst clapping her friend's shoulder. We are inviting you so there's no abuse in hospitality. But are the Starks aware of this? It's their hospitality we are breaching on. Come on you dummy, Cassandra said as she grabbed his arm. Let's not make my cousins wait any longer. They came by the Tower of the Hand and found two wheelhouses outside with quite a few guards there as well. The Stark children were outside, seated on some benches with Roz, waiting. Hello everyone. Myrcella called. My princess, my prince, it's so good to see you, Roz said with a warm smile as she got up, and so did the rest of the Starks. And my lady and my lord too, I'm Roz, a companion to the children. Cassandra Baratheon, and this is my friend Gian Valerian. Cassandra introduced. A pleasure to meet you all. The woman said with a nod. The pleasure is ours, good woman. Cousin Cassandra said. Are you going somewhere? Myrcella asked, with the sight of the wheelhouses arouse her curiosity. We are, Lyanna said. Mother wishes to visit an orphanage she helped when she was lady-in-waiting to Princess Elia. Indeed, Roz admitted. We were not expecting none of you wonderful people's company today, so we had this visit arranged. I think visiting an orphanage may prove itself a good and worthy experience, Cassandra said. What do you say, cousins? Shall we join in? Myrcella gave it some thought, and to be frank, she never interacted with common people besides her Septa and Roz, and even if the Septa was a strict woman, she was nice and Roz was definitely nice, so. If I'm allowed to join you, I shall. I'm sure milady will like it. Roz smiled. Like what? Lady Stark inquired as she and her lord husband exited the Tower of the Hand. She with a bright smile and he with a grim face. Princess Myrcella and Lady Cassandra Baratheon wish to join us on our little trip, Roz explained to her liege lady. I'm not sure about Prince Tommen, but since Bran wishes to stay, it might be better if stays playing with him. Oh, that is wonderful. The kind lady said. We will be happy to have you with us. Well, I'm leaving. Lord Stark said. Have a nice day, he said while he kissed his wife on her lips, and Myrcella found it exquisite, for the Stark couple seemed to be the complete opposite of her parents. Good luck with the meeting, my lord. Lady Stark said with courtesy. Jory, could you be a dear and watch Prince Tommen as well? I'm sure his sworn shield is enough protection, but our boy needs to be as well. Of course, my lady. Jory nodded. Fantastic. Bran, you can show him the books you have not shown yet. Lady Stark suggested. Sure, come on my prince. Brandon Stark called her brother, and Tommen followed him happily. I have a book about the Storm Kings of old you may be interested in. Yes, I am. Now, my girls. Lady Stark called. Arya, you and the princess can join the main wheelhouse with Roz, Lyanna, and Jane, while I will go in the smaller one with Lady Cassandra. That is if there isn't any problem with you, Lady Cassandra. No, there is no problem, Lady Stark, Cassandra assured. I look forward to it. Great, then let's get ourselves going. Lady Stark proclaimed. Hullen, Harwin, do go on. Cassandra Baratheon 6. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. So, how are you today, Lady Cassandra? Lady Stark inquired with a warm smile. Her eyes were so beautiful, violet and haunting. Quite fine, my lady, she managed to reply. That is good, the Dornish lady said as she glanced the window of the wheelhouse. You must be wondering why I asked for you to come in this wheelhouse with me. I actually am, my lady, she confessed. There is room for another person here, such as my cousin or one of your younger daughters. Indeed, the lady said. But I wished to speak privately with you. Privately? About what, my lady? As you know, my husband is now the Hand of the King, and he has been rather confused as to why Lord Stannis, your father, has left from Dragonstone without as much as a say-so. Lady Stark inquired. Well, my lady, I do not know, Cassandra admitted. In fact, I came here to see if I could find a clue on my own, for my father refused to tell me anything. So you came to the capital to find out why your father returned to his seat? Yes. That is an interesting goal, thank you for being honest with me. The woman said. But did it occur to you that perhaps your father ran away? From what? Cassandra asked. Her father was no coward to run away. From King's Landing's vipers perhaps. The Dornish woman elaborated. There are quite a few of them here. From the vipers. I doubt it, she countered. My father was made master of ships 15 years ago and he served to the best of his abilities and never once did he abandon his position. So you and I can conclude that something made him feel threatened, otherwise he would not abandon his position. Lady Stark said. My husband told me your father held Storm's End for a full year against the might of the Reach, took Dragonstone and defeated Victorian Greyjoy in a naval battle, so it does seem like a weird behavior. I can't refute such statement. Cassandra admitted. So tell me, Lady Cassandra, what do you think of Lord Arryn's death? Lord Arryn's death? Why was she asking about it? Cassandra gave it some thought on the subject, struggling with it for a while as the Dornish woman looked at her expressionless. The woman must have some theory about Lord Arryn's death that likely contradicted the official cause of death. It had to be, since she was asking. Then it came to her, Lord Arryn died, Uncle Robert went north to fetch Lady Stark's husband to be hanged and her father returned to Dragonstone in the time Uncle Robert was away. My father returned after his death, Cassandra whispered. So, for him to return after his death, then he must have thought that Lord Arryn was killed and he would be next. Lady Stark smiled after she spoke. Interesting theory, it makes sense as well. Then she leaned forward. And how do you think Lord Arryn was killed? Interesting question. Well, if my father believes he was killed and everyone else thinks he died a natural death, then it must have been poison. Then it all became clear to her. Someone poisoned Lord Arryn and my father thought he would be next. Oh, by the seven. You clearly have a sharp mind and yet it seems you are oblivious, Lady Stark said. Pardon me, she asked, confused. You have a mind that makes theorize things from simple and hidden clues, but you also came to the capital with nothing but a sworn shield of sorts, Lady Stark elaborated. Do you realize the danger you have placed yourself in? I know how to defend myself and so does Gian, she barked. No doubt you can, my dear, but take a look at what your father did. He left because he felt he could be poisoned, and yet do you even have the same fear? No. You are a sweet summer child, my dear. Lady Stark smiled. I was once the same way as you and my daughters are still like you as well. Then how do I stop myself from being a summer child? Cassandra inquired. If you find me naive, then I must not be. My father is not naive, and so if I am to succeed him, I mustn't be either. You only stop being a summer child when winter bites you. The lady explained in a riddle. In other words, you stop being naive and oblivious when reality comes for you. Lady Stark elaborated. The world is not a song and you are smart girl to know I'm right. I was a summer child once, when I came to this city for the first time, at 16 of age. I had had some slaps from reality before, and here gods be good I had so many slaps of reality. The woman continued. Most women are educated to be simpletons and do what they are told by their husbands without a question raised, but I'm not like that. I have a mind of my own, who makes thoughts of her own, and I can differentiate what is proper and not. That is why I take the time to educate my daughters on how reality works. Just womanly arts doesn't work, because once they marry they will have to survive on their own. They can get a good husband, which by the gods I hope they get, or a bad husband, and they have to be prepared for both. Cass saw how right Lady Stark was. Her mother and Septa Mordane, for how good they were, wanted her as a simpleton, but she was not a simpleton. She was her own person, she had a will of her own, she had a mind to think. That was why Lady Stark intrigued her. For some reason, she felt that she could benefit from the woman's teachings. Her vision of reality so was much like Cass's. Lady Stark, if you are teaching your children on being more than summer children, would it be possible for you to teach me too? I'm a quick learner, I assure you I will not disappoint you. How wonderful. I was about to ask you if you were interested in some of my so boring lessons, but it seems you were. The woman said, giggling. I will gladly teach you some life lessons. I see potential in you. My lady does. You met Ros, my children's companion, did you not? Lady Stark asked. I met her when she was a child of 7, a daughter of a whore at Wintertown. I saw her potential when she had learned to read and count by herself. She was a fighter who wished to do more for herself, so I took her as my apprentice. People look at her and see a simple servant, but underneath it, there is a cunning woman, and I think I might just be able to make you a better Lady of Dragonstone too. With all due respect, your educators so deserved for making you what you are now. My mother would never regard a common woman, especially a daughter of a whore, in such high esteem, Cassandra confessed upon learning more about Roz. And what do you make of it? Lady Stark asked. I think that someone's merit should not be judged by one's status, Cassandra replied. My father knighted a smuggler who saved Storm's End's garrison from starvation and has a lot of respect for the man still. He told me once, after my mother and my scepter ranted me for playing with some common children, that he would not condemn me for as long as I was surrounded myself with competent people and not useless fools. So I see no mind with your apprentice, Lady Stark. To me she seems like a competent person that my father would surround himself with. She doubted he would, since he was uncomfortable around women, but he definitely would approve the woman as companion to Cassandra. I think your father is a peculiar man then, Lady Cassandra. Not many people are in the same line of thought as him, Lady Stark said. It seems he has done quite a lot already. You will not be starting from zero. Please call me Cassandra or Cass, my lady. You are older than me and it feels weird for someone who is to become my teacher to call me lady, Cassandra begged. Lady Stark began laughing with it. I will be sure to keep that in my mind, Cassandra. Now we must begin your training with a visit to the orphanage. First lesson, the more friends and allies you have the better. A lady benefits from having friends from all over the social hierarchy, for they offer different perspectives of things and different solutions to problems that arise. Understood? But importantly, try to have some fun while you are at it. The lady said while clapping her knee. I will, my lady. This was going to make her a better person, she was sure. Ashura Dane 6. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. Cassandra Baratheon, what an interesting woman in the making, Ashura found. Upon seeing the girl for the first time, she saw a huge potential in her, as she did with Roz and Elaena. She was quite glad that the girl was keen on learning some of Ashura's lessons. Lord Stannis had done quite a lot already if the words of the young lady were true, but she might make this girl even better. And from this fine young lady, she also learned that her theory about Lord Arryn being poisoned was most likely true, but who did the deed? The Lannisters. The Iron Bank. The Tyrells. Who would benefit the most from his death? Perhaps if she were to find out what Lord Arryn and Lord Stannis were searching for, she might have clue, but the danger level has also grown exponentially. Ashura, Roz and the children stood by Sunshine Orphanage store. The building was somewhat degrading, but it was much better than before. She, Elia and the rest of the ladies in waiting took hold of it. Then she knocked on the door and was surprised by the woman who opened the door. The woman's mouth opened and then Ashura felt a warm hug around herself. Milady. The crooked teeth and the beautiful blue eyes gave her away. Clarisse, look at you. A woman already. 7 hells, you must be 21, right? A moon away, I believe, milady. The woman said with a smile, but there were tears in her eyes as well. Oh, milady, we have missed you so. Don't cry, Clarisse. Ashura hugged the now woman tightly. I have brought quite a few people today, to cheer everyone here, so let us in. Of course, milady, do come on in. She was surprised with all the rather familiar faces, considering that 15 years passed. Cletus, Melissa, Edwin, Alysanne the Small that was taller than Ashura by now, and so many others, old orphans trying to make a better life for the newer ones. While the children were playing and chatting with the newer orphans, Ashura was taking a sip of tea in the large kitchen area with Clarisse, Alysanne the Small, and mismatched Brian. It warms my heart to know it's still standing, Ashura confessed. Elia would be proud. The Lannisters brought so much destruction and grief to the capital, Alysanne said, deeply sad. They destroyed part of the building and raped some of us. Jenny and Maria became pregnant afterward, and Sadie almost died from wounds. Their butchery would have been bigger if some Valyman knights did not arrive and stop them by the time Lord Stark, your husband, arrived in the capital. I'm deeply sorry for what happened here. Had I known, Ashura was deeply sad that the Lannister did such thing to her dear friends. Milady wouldn't be able to do anything. Mismatched Brian said, called like that for the mismatched eyes. We rose from almost ashes and we stand proudly once more. Some of us rose and opened their own businesses, others looked for new opportunities, but we still stand proudly, and that is what matters. I will see if I can increase the money I sent you every 3 moons. though I'm afraid from this year I will not be able to send any as my husband was made hand of the king. Maybe I can think of something else. Milady, we are deeply thankful for the money you, Lady Jasline and Lady Emily send us. Clarisse spoke. It is enough to keep us standing. All the same, I don't like the situation we currently find ourselves in regard to the orphanage. I'm sure I will come out with a good solution for the problem. If it makes Milady rest better at night, though we must insist we are well. Alysanne tried to assure, but Ashura was already contemplating solutions. By the way, some of our friends work at the Red Keep still. They will be happy to see you once again, Milady, and perhaps provide you with interesting information. That can be useful, my dears. I'm afraid we are times of peril, people are being poisoned. Gods, Clarisse interjected. You highborn are mostly fools, killing each other for stupid reasons, mismatched. Byron sighed. Sometimes I thank the Seven for making me a commoner. Ashura laughed with the comment and couldn't find a more true statement about highborn people. In a few moons, it's likely that there shall be a tourney in my husband's honor, though he doesn't like to have his name branding a useless thing. I will make sure the leftovers are brought here. Ashura assured as she saw Arya playing with some orphans, boys and girls. That way there is no need for you all to spend much in feeding these little ones. That will be appreciated, Milady, Alysanne confessed. We are truly thankful for your wonderful visit, and the Seven may continue blessing you with such wonderful children. Perhaps the pack may increase soon, if her distemper this morning was something to go by. Thank you so much, my dears, I'm glad you are all right. My conscience has been heavy this past 15 years. And ours has been as well, Milady, but Lord Stark seems like a good husband. Clarisse said. He is a sweet little wolf, my wolf, she said, murmured, and they all laughed. The hours went on and they had fun in the orphanage. They were now returning to the wheelhouses the same way as before. The girls were all tired, including Roz. A tiring day is a well-spent day. Notes. First, I must apologize for failing to update on the past Friday. I had half the chapter half written but did not like the way it was coming, so I restarted it. I also was lazy and took some time off to rewrite some chapters of my main series, including writing the final chapter that will be uploaded next Friday, ending part 1 in the process. From now on, this story will have a chapter every Tuesday, will potential to have another on Fridays as well, but it's not mandatory like it has been until now. This should alleviate some pressure off my shoulders. Without any further ado, thank you for sparing time reading, and I hope everyone has a nice day. Chapter 11, Boring Waiting. Notes. See the end of the chapter for notes. Chapter text. Arya Stark 2. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. Lady Cassana's embroidery was exquisite, Lyanna said while they ate the first course of their dinner, a vegetable soup. Father wasn't there yet. Ever since they arrived at King's Landing that father arrived late and so very tired. The technique was more refined than mine. Oh, so I'm teaching you badly then? Roz inquired with a frown as she helped Lyra eat her soup. No, I did not mean it like that, Roz. You teach us very well. It's just that Lady Cassana is better than me and Jane at embroidery. Lyanna insisted. I'm watching you, pup, Roz proclaimed with a rather bitter look. Roz. Lady Cassana seemed more interested in speaking of horses, swords and even warhammers with Arya than doing embroidery though. Mother spoke with a smile as a gesture to Lyanna that Roz was playing with Lyanna. The laugh from the young woman proved Mother's theory. A pastime that our dear Arya enjoyed, did you not, love? It was true, she did enjoy the talk with Lady Cassana. The Baratheon knew what she was talking about. She had vast knowledge in horses and was trained with sword and hammer, while Arya was just trained with the bow and a little with sword. Arya liked Myrcella too, but the blonde Baratheon was closer to Lyanna and Jane in behavior, unlike Lady Cassana, who surprisingly enough, was close to both Arya and Lyanna. Yes, I did enjoy the talk, she admitted. All the more reasons for our Arya to give more effort in her stitches, Roz said with an observing look which showed a tongue when Arya's glance fell on her and then a smirk. I don't like embroidery. Arya said bitterly, angered that they kept insisting on making her do the stupid stitches. I have to say that your stitches are getting better. Roz proclaimed. They are very far in quality to your sister or Jane's, but you have improved a lot this last year. I'm proud of you, Arya. I have seen them myself and I must agree with Roz. Mother said. I know you hate it, but you must know some ladylike things too, my dear. Upon hearing this, Arya's heart warmed a slight bit as she wasn't expecting to be complimented on her embroidery skills. She still hated it still, but she liked to be complimented. "I guess I can give some more practice," she whispered. "As you should." Mother agreed. "My lord." Arya heard Jory say, and all heads turned to the entrance of the small hall, as they called it, to set it apart from the great hall where King Robert could feast 1,000 people. The guards began standing up as they saw their lord. "Hello everyone," Father said with a weak smile, as she expected he was grimmer than what he was at Winterfell. "Those damned small council meetings." It was Lyanna who suggested them as the reason for Father's erratic behavior a day ago when Mother was getting dressed still. "You may sit and keep enjoying your meals." "My lord, there is some talk in the yard about a tourney happening soon," Jory said as he resumed his seat. "They say that knights will come from all over the realm to joust and feast in honor of your appointment as Hand of the King." Arya could see that her father was not very happy about the subject. "Do they also talk about this being the last thing in the world that I would have wished? Especially when I only intend to serve for a year." "Love, leave poor Jory alone, he doesn't have a fault about it," Mother said. "Come here and have a seat with us." Father sighed. "Apologies Jory, it was ill done on my part." "There is no problem my lord, we were just curious about it." "As you should, and yes, it will happen, in a moon from now," Father said as he took a seat next to Mother. He was so tired, he was rubbing his face before picking the cutlery. "A tourney," Lyanna proclaimed, beaming. "May we attend, Father?" "Tourneys don't do well with this family," Father ranted. "We met in a tourney," Mother whispered. "Or did you forget it somehow?" "And you know what else happened in that very same tourney," Father countered. "I do, but it won't harm our girls to attend," Mother insisted. "They are still young and we will keep a close eye on them." "Oh, please, Father, let us go," Lyanna begged. "We never saw a tourney, we may not have an opportunity after this." Father looked pained with awe. "Fine, I shall arrange a place for all of you. Everything will be all right, love," Mother assured. "Now eat something as we have to do what we agreed on." Mother's soothing words seemed to have a positive effect on Father, for his face showed a slight hint of happiness. What were they planning though? "I must say that Lyanna's betrothal has been officially declined." "Really?" asked her sister. "I don't have to marry the prince." "No, and I pity the woman who has," Father said. "Robert was obnoxious today once I told him about our decision. Now he is offering Myrcella for Jon or Tommen for Arya. I don't want to marry Tommen." Arya hissed as soon as the notion was spoken. Everyone laughed except Bran. "Why not? Tommen is interesting and is a cultivated mind at the age of 7. Her brother said. "I don't like to read books like the two of you." Arya dismissed. "And he is plump." "Arya." Roz scolded upon hearing the insult. "Watch your manners." "Sorry. Nothing has been arranged, but he is keen on making this Stark Baratheon marriage happen somehow," Father explained as he sipped the soup. "Yet another troublesome affair." "Forget about it now." Mother patted Father's back. "You have to rest during your free time, not being consumed with other matters. Your head may explode otherwise." Father nodded and continued eating just like the rest of them, and when they were done, both he and Mother called them all to the Hand's chamber. She, her sister and Jane had gone there once, to see how it was, without anyone's consent, and were berated by Roz of course. "Now we called you here because of what happened by the Trident," Mother began. "I'm sure I don't need to explain what happened, since I believe it is still fresh in your minds. We are hard, cruel times, my children," Father continued. "Your mother told you about the capital often, so I don't need to say it again, but we didn't even arrive yet and there was the prince threatening Arya's life with a sword. Robert punished Joffrey, but I believe it wasn't enough. Consider what could have happened if Nymeria did not intervene. Nymeria, her friend, she missed her, and she hoped Jon and Arthur would take care of her." "No, it wasn't," Mother quickly said. "So upon much reflection, we came into the conclusion that you all don't know how to defend yourselves in case there are no guards around. So your mother intends for Lyanna and Jane to learn it." "Defend ourselves, my lord?" Jane asked, confused. "How? With swords?" "I do not mean to frighten any of you, but neither will I lie to you," We have come to a dark and dangerous place, this is not Winterfell. Father explained. We have enemies who mean us ill and you both need to know basic defenses. With this much I agree with my wife. Lyanna meant well, but she blocked upon seeing Arya being threatened by the prince, which cannot happen again. But if I knew how to defend myself, would I need to kill the prince somehow? Lyanna inquired. If I did so, it would bring more trouble for our family, but I would have saved Arya. We hope such a situation never arises again, for it's very complicated to find a proper way to deal with it. Mother began with a serious expression. But if King Robert's scolding wasn't enough to persuade the boy to calm down, then I'm afraid it's them or us. Father made a gesture for Ros to come closer with a box in her hands. With curiosity, they all peeked inside said box, and there, they found 2 daggers of equal size and color. Daggers? Asked her sister abashed. Yes. Mother nodded. Ros and I always carry at least one with us, and it's about time you two carry one yourselves. This is by no means us telling you to be violent or go on a killing spree, but if words fail and you have no other way of escaping, then you know what to do. Lyanna and Jane picked the daggers and inspected them as they shone in the light. Arya was kind of jealous. They were beautiful daggers and she sort of wished to have one for herself, but she had needle already. Understood. Lyanna proclaimed. I shall learn how to properly yield it. I will not be helpless again. Me too. Jane nodded. Good. Father smiled a shy smile. Now we all know that little Lyra is too young to yield one herself, and Bran is a boy, so he is destined to yield a sword, which he will once he begins his training with Sir Aaron Santager. But I'm sure you are wondering why there wasn't one for you, Arya. She actually was. Were her parents reading her mind somehow? I am. Her sister and friend looked towards her, and so did her brother. Ros darling, why don't you explain to Arya what will happen with her? Mother gestured as she placed a hand on Ros' shoulder, who smiled a bright smile upon hearing the command. Certainly, milady and milord. The red-haired woman approached Arya. Tomorrow you will start practicing sword fighting like a proper fighter. Practicing with swords. Her heart began beating way too fast. Really, she managed to ask. Would I lie to you, Arya? Ros asked with a frown. No, but Jon did give a sword, did he not? Father asked with a smile. You are swordswoman now, and as such you must practice with it. Just, not with your poor brother. She blushed upon hearing this. It was ill done on her part to abuse Bran's goodwill, and she had apologized to him as well, but it still made her feel stupid. Mother came to her and brought her closer to a hug. Tomorrow morning, after breakfast, you remain at the small hall and patiently wait there. I will, thank you. Arya said with tears of joy in her eyes. No tears, little pup. Ros said. Just smiles. But these are tears of joy, she said. All the same. Okay, everyone, enough of this, time to go to bed. Mother commanded. Go on, tomorrow is a new day and the dawn arises. Arya almost did not sleep that night. First, there was the usual noise, and second, she was excited to begin her training as well. But who would be her instructor? Father did not speak of Sir Aaron Santager, and Bran would be under the Dornishman's tutelage because father had no time for it. In the morning she shared her breakfast with her family, and then she waited, and waited. I see you are already here. An unfamiliar voice proclaimed. It came from a rather thin man yielding a bald head and a great beak of a nose. In his hands were a pair of slender wooden swords. Tomorrow you will be here at the same time. The man had an accent, from the Free Cities. Are you the one is to teach me sword fighting? She asked. I am your dancing master. He tossed her one of the wooden blades which she tried to grab but failed. Tomorrow you will catch it. Now pick it up. Yes, she replied as she picked it up with both hands as she usually did. The bald man gritted his teeth together. That is not the way, boy. This is not a great sword for you to use two hands on. You will take the blade in one hand. It's too heavy for just one hand. Arya barked back. It is heavy to make you strong and improve your balance. The man retorted. One hand now is all that is needing. Arya was left-handed, so she held the sword with just that hand. She could use both but preferred the left one. The man seemed to approve. Like this? She inquired. Yes, the left is good. All is reversed and it will make your enemies more awkward, he explained. But your standing is wrong. Turn your body sideways, he commanded, and she did so. Yes, like that. You are skinny as the shaft of a spear, do you know? Yes. Everyone told her as much, so it wasn't anything new. I know it well. That is good too, the target is smaller and harder to hit, he said. Now the grip, let me see it. He moved closer and peered at her hand, rearranging her fingers. Just so, yes, do not squeeze it so tight, the grip must be deft, delicate. But it may fall this way, she said. It's too heavy. The steel must be part of your arm. The bald man explained. Can you drop part of your arm? No. But 9 years Siri O'Forrell was first sword to the Sea Lord of Bravos. He knows these things, listen to him, boy. It was the third time he called her a boy and she had enough of it. I'm a girl, sir. Not a boy. Boy or girl matters not. Siri O'Forrell said. You are a sword and that is all there is. Remember, child, this is not the Iron Dance of Westeros we are learning, the Knight's Dance, hacking and hammering, no, this is the Bravos Dance, the Water Dance, swift and sudden. Water dancing. All men are made of water, do you know this? He asked. When you pierce them, the water leaks out and they die. Then he took a step backward and raised his own wooden blade. Now try to strike me and show me what you have in you, child. And Arya tried to strike him. She tried for 4 hours, until every muscle in her body was sore and aching, while Siri O'Forrell clicked his teeth together and told her what to do. The training was over then when the rest of her family came for lunch. Mother, slightly worried about Arya's sorrowful look, told her to take a bath before joining them for the meal. Arya enjoyed the first day of her training and would give her best in the following ones. No, Joffrey would try to harm again. Cassina Baratheon 7. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. So you aren't joining the Starks today? Gian inquired as they exited the maiden vault. As always, he carried his 2 swords, and she was thinking on the possibility of asking why he does so, what that sword at his back was, but she knew he probably would not say anything, as always. I'm afraid not. A servant came by when you were still asleep explaining that a man wished to meet me with urgency, she explained. I'm quite worried. The servants did not inform you about who it was? Her friend asked. No name was given, she said. Just that the man was waiting at the throne room where my Uncle Robert is hearing his subjects, please. That is odd, Gian admitted. It is, she agreed. By the way, I caught you staring at Ros Buxom yesterday. I wasn't staring, he barked bitterly. Gods, why do you think I'm always staring at women's breasts? Because you were. I saw it with my very own eyes, she insisted while eyeing him. I was not. Fine, big liar, I saw you. Now that I think of it, we haven't talked about King's Landing, have we? What about it? What do you think of everyone here? She asked. Well, your uncles love you, your aunt and eldest cousin hate you, your other cousins and the Starks like you, that creepy Master of Coin is creepy just as the eunuch, however I would say that Master of Coin is eyeing you on a weirder way which I'm not sure about, the rest of the people are just scenery for now if I'm to be honest. When was the Master of Coin looking at me in a creepy way? She asked, confused and slightly afraid. I never saw him doing such thing, he seemed like a fine gentleman. Perhaps you were watching where my gaze fell on too, gods be damned. But I assure you he wasn't he your mother's friend? And yes, Lord Baelish was a ward to my grandfather at Riverrun, she sighed. You have a sharp tongue when you wish. You are the one is accusing me of things. True things. You are a man and men are pigs at times. Cassina ranted. It would be better if you admit your sins. She made a gesture with her hands to emphasize sin, as she really did not think of it as a sin. Not after that day, where she saw him bare-chested. If a woman felt this way for a man, then a man should feel the same with a woman, especially if they had ample assets. Gian remained silent, curious. Whatever you say, he sighed. Have you gotten any information about why your father returned to Dragonstone? I think I know why he did so, she admitted. Yes. And what is your theory? Lady Stark and I think Lord Arryn was poisoned and my father thought he was next in line. Poisoned? By whom? That is a good question, my friend. If you have any suggestions, do tell me about it. Cass said. Might have some theories in mind but no concrete evidence to risk saying them, Gian said. I just find it weird why the man was poisoned. Well, you know where to find me if you find something. And now they arrived by throne room where the servant told her to go. There were a few people there begging for her uncle's judgment, old and young, men and women alike. Ah, Cass. Uncle Robert shouted happily from up the throne. Do you want to take my place for a while and hear these complaints yourself? I'm afraid not, Your Grace, she replied with a smile. I'm content down here. There is definitely something of Stannis in you, girl, he said. By the way, here is one of his men which he sent to speak with you. Milady Cassina. The man bowed before her, while she would recognize his face anywhere. Sir Davos, I did not expect to see you here, she confessed, although she sort of knew why he was there. I need a word with you, milady, he begged. Can it be done in private? Certainly, let us leave my uncle to his duty. The three of them went outside, to what she identified as Gian's favorite wall to rest his back on when he waits for her while she takes breakfast with her uncles. That was another thing Gian liked to do, rest his back at walls. Milady, your parents are worried about you, Sir Davos explained. Since your disappearance, Dragonstone has gone a little mad, I must confess. There is nothing to worry about, I'm fine, she assured the man. I can see that milady and your father knew you would be coming here, and your mother is rather worried, the man said. So my mother has returned from the Eyrie. How was my Aunt Lysa? And my cousin Robert? Milady, please do not change the talk. Your mother fainted once she heard you came here alone. I'm not alone, she corrected. I'm with Gian, my uncles and some friends I made here. Good friends, I must say. Cassina assured. There is nothing for her to worry. And as for my father, do tell him this all his fault for not informing me of things. I'm his daughter and I have every right to know what troubles him. I'm sure if Milord Stannis did not tell you anything was because he thought it was better that way. Sir Davos said. Besides, your lady mother is convinced that the Lannisters are behind Lord Arryn's death. She said they poisoned him and is afraid they may target you as well. Where did my mother get that conclusion, Sir Davos? She questioned, confused. By her sister's own words, as she says. She wanted to come here herself but your father forbade her, sending me instead, instructing me to bring you back at once and end this folly. My aunt. Could it be that she knew things others didn't? Interesting. I must refuse, my good sir. Do tell my parents that I plan to stay enough for the tourney of the hand. I'm rather curious to see the jousts and melee. Milady, I reckon you should reconsider your choice. Your parents are rather angry with you. Especially your father. Let him be, I'm angry with him as well. Milady. Go on, Sir Davos, Cassina commanded. And it was good to meet you, give my greetings to Shireen and your lady wife. The man bowed and left with a serious and shaken face, clearly not happy with her resolve. But she cared not. You are lucky you are not a child or your father would slap you well, Gian murmured. Yes, but he still thinks of me like one, so I may get a good beating still, she sort of japed. I think I may have some interesting news for Lady Stark, so I'm going to meet her now. Come along, Gian, and don't. I'm not staring at their breasts. Yes, I know. Arianne Martell too. King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. Our King's Landing. Uncle Oberyn proclaimed with a big smirk as they exited the ship. I have missed this smell of shit. What about you all? Their group was rather small compared to previous excursions that Arianne was part of. There was her Uncle Oberyn, his paramour Ellaria, his former squire and Arianne's former lover Sir Demon Sand, Arianne herself, her cousins Nymeria and Tyon, the ladies Jaslyne Vaith, Emily Urenwood, and Nysa Gargallan, and finally the latter two's husbands Lord Bernard Wyl and Lord Demon Vaith respectively. A weird entourage if she was to say so. It certainly brings some memories. Lady Emily said, and the older Dornish women laughed with it. Yes, the smell of vipers, Lady Jaslyne added. Oh, you know I'm the only viper, my friends. Uncle said while Arianne and her cousins walked a little behind them, having some privacy to speak. How can people live here? It's disgusting. Nym ranted with a disdainful look. Gods, what a bloody smell. I might have done better and stay at Sunspear like Obera. Tien said. Obera was ill, dear cousin. Otherwise she would have come with us. Ariane said. But by the seven, does it stink? I never thought it smelled so badly. Demon, go and rent us 2 wheelhouses and 4 horses. Uncle Oberyn said in between laughs with the ladies. Yes, my prince. Demon nodded as he went on ahead. The 2 husbands seemed a bit lost too. Father, why didn't we come on our own horses? Nym decided to ask. It would be much faster and cheaper. No, it would not, he dismissed. It would take 2 to 3 months and we are not making anyone wait for us to justify such action. We have coins to spend, so let us do so. Fine, her cousin sighed. You are just bitter that you could not bring your Goldilocks with you, Tien murmured. I am. You know I love that horse. Enough bickering, girls. Elaria, her uncle's paramour, said. It will do us good to travel by wheelhouse at times, especially in this city. I must agree, Ariane admitted. I prefer wheelhouse over riding my own horse. It sores my buttocks less. Me too. Tien said. Fine, as you all say, I see I'm alone in this. They walked to a nearby inn and spent some time there waiting for Demon's return. Ariane eyed the room for handsome men but found none worthy, not that an inn on a faraway city was a good place to have sex. She was quite excited to meet the Lady Ashura, a woman whose beauty her uncle boasted so many times and that according to him married a plain-looking Northman that did not deserve her. A Dornish woman and a Northman, what an odd and interesting pair, she mused. I may take it upon me to visit the great September of Baelor sometime. Tien proclaimed. I always wanted to visit it and now I have a good opportunity to do so. We already visited the starry September in Old Town, why bother with this one? Nym ranted. It's just a landmark one has to visit, Tien replied. Besides, you know I'm pious. Yes, definitely the pious one, Nym laughed rather loudly. I never saw men and women alike sharing your bed or anything. No more than they joined yours, my dear sister. Tien countered. But just because I share my bed with people does not mean I don't pray. I'm more eager to visit the Red Keep, Ariane confessed. All the nobility is there, all the handsome men, and women. And the Lannisters as well, both Tien and Nym said in unison. Yes, the Lannisters, she admitted. They are waiting patiently for their payment. Oh yes, they are, Nym smirked. May the seven save their souls, for I will not. Demon finally returned and they departed to the Red Keep at once. The older ladies went on the same wheelhouse while Ariane and her cousins went on another, talking about how they could exact their revenge or imagining their soon-to-be paramours. They were called to a halt just before the gates of the castle. And they had to wait and wait, she sighed of boredom. Luckily they could leave the wheelhouses and stretch their legs. I know this would be so boring I might have stayed at Sunspear, now I look like Tien. And then a woman came to meet them, and by the seven, what a bloody woman she was, dressed in a lilac gown, there was a direwolf necklace in her neck, her eyes were violet and her hair was lustrous and black, her curves were refined and buxom was ample, though Ariane's was slightly bigger, but by the seven was the Lady Ashura Dane, a sight to be seen. Well, the Danes were certainly out of this world with their beauty. Ah, Ashura my friend, so good to see you. Uncle Oberyn spoke as pretty much she and her cousins were open-mouthed still while the older ladies were smiling. It's good to see you not made of ice. Lady Ashura's face was harsh. As if she was not too happy to see them somehow. Oberyn. By the gods, what is the meaning of this? We came for a little visit, my friend, Uncle said with a big smirk. Didn't you wish to see your friends? Ah, seven hells, you never learn. The woman hissed. Gods, how am I going to explain this? Well, you know me better than I do, her uncle laughed despite it all. I know you find a way. Notes. And here is another chapter. Thank you as always for sparing time reading, and I hope everyone has a nice day. Chapter 12, Troublesome Affairs. Notes. See the end of the chapter for notes. Chapter text. Gian Valerian I. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. Just as Gian thought things couldn't get any worse, they got, and he should have been expecting it. Nothing ever gets better. Gian always tried his best to be a proper man as much as he could, but he was a man and men had flaws, and he had a big one: women. Now he preferred nice women, women who were kind to him and people like Lena was, but if women were dressed in revealing gowns and were pretty to look at, then he couldn't help but stare at them. He just couldn't. He always wondered about how a man could resist the urge to peek. He tried so many times and failed so miserable. Normally no one saw him do the deed, for he was fast in his stares, but ever since Cassandra caught him doing it more than once did it get more awkward, especially with her reminding him of it constantly. He, of course, denied it always, for he was ashamed of his behavior. It was not proper neither for these women nor for Lena's memory. Ever since Lena was killed nothing was the same for him. Her memory was in his heart, for no one else would care for a simple dragger seed of Driftmark, especially when her entire family was butchered by those fuckers, pillaging, raping and killing everything in their path. Lena and his people died and nothing could be done for them, which angered him beyond measure. They may reign supreme now, terrorizing the seas, but they will suffer from the atrocities they commit once everything is ready and he comes back. I will make sure of it. Ignoring those thoughts of revenge and focusing on what was troubling him now, it happened when Cassandra decided to come and meet Lady Stark. The Starks enjoyed the gardens of the Red Keep, and as such, they were usually found there. But today, there were plenty of Dornish women beside the Starks. Now besides Cassandra, Lady Stark, Ros, and the eldest Stark girl, Lyanna, there were a bunch of beautiful Dornish women who were simply way too provocative in their dresses, much more than the Starks, and it was leaving him uncomfortable. Gods have no mercy for me. I wasn't expecting so many people here, Cassandra admitted, seemingly taken aback with so many people around the Starks. Perhaps we came at a bad time, she told him. You have no idea. Cassandra was 3 years younger than him, but almost as tall as he was, and he wasn't that small at all. It was her Baratheon blood if he was to guess. Her uncles and father were towers, so it was expected for her to grow tall as well. She was also blooming into quite a lady, in her own way. Sometimes he wondered what she might feel for him, especially that weird episode in the ship that brought them to King's Landing, but he guessed he was but a friend of hers and nothing more, which was as good as he could get. He had no wish to be gelded thrice, or perhaps he should, so that he could stop having this behavior. At times he wondered if falling in love again be a proper solution to his problem. Or get married, having just a woman to care about and give his everything to her. It had been his wish before it all happened, and to some extent, it still was, but the world is full of broken hearts, half of them being his. He learned from a very young age that life is a bitch. What she gives with one hand, she takes with the other. Not that anyone would fall in love with him or wish to marry him. He was as boring as a septon, plain looking and without a thing to give, thanks to his cursed grandfather and Valyrian purity bullshit. Gian Valerian was nothing but a no one, an unimportant character in a story about other people. They will just have to suffer from my existence, I'm afraid. Are you listening to me, Gian? Cassandra asked, waking him up from his thoughts of misery. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention, he confessed. I have noticed, his friend said with a raised eyebrow. Staring at you know what? Here we go again. I wasn't staring. And this time he was speaking truthfully. Sure. Didn't you come here to speak with Lady Stark? He asked, hoping to change the subject and free his soul from accusations. Lady Stark seems to be speaking with a Dornishman. Cass explained, and Gian glanced the beautiful woman and confirmed Cass's words. We may need to come later. Cass. It was Lyanna Stark who spoke. She was a copy of her mother in looks, and like Cassandra she was blooming to become a beautiful lady herself. You came. We were thinking you would not. Please have a seat with us here. We have a few new companions to introduce to you. Cassandra smiled and made a gesture for him to follow her. Gods no, not to them. You may sit with us if you wish, Sir Gian. Lyanna spoke to him with a bright smile. There are plenty of chairs here. I'm fine, my lady, there is no need, he said with a shy smile, but then he saw all the women staring at him with weird faces, and what harm had he caused to suffer such punishment? Gods be damned. With some better thought, I may just take a seat. This way he would look weird, but at least he would be able to stare at the floor and avoid peeking. Gods, why did that Dornish woman had to have such large breasts? This is Lady Cassandra Baratheon, daughter of Lord Stannis Baratheon and niece to our King Robert. Lyanna spoke as she took a seat to where she had been. Cassandra, These are Princess Ariane Martel and her cousins Nymeria and Tien Sand. A pleasure, my ladies. Cassandra nodded with a bright and courteous smile. The pleasure is ours, my lady. The princess, who happened to be the big-breasted one, spoke with a smile. It's nice to get acquainted with you. And this is Sir Gian Valerian. Eliana continued. Lady Cassandra's sworn shield and companion. My ladies, he said as he began getting nervous with all the looks he was receiving. Gian got nervous when he had too many people around him, especially women. A Valerian. Tien Sand, who had blonde hair and blue eyes, joined in with a smile on her pretty face. Her buxom wasn't the largest, but luckily for him, it was properly concealed with a gown with long sleeves. You don't look Valerian. I got my mother's coloring, he replied. But I'm indeed Valerian. I always wanted to meet a Valerian myself, the princess said, leaning closer to him. Gods, I should have remained sleeping this morning. Don't look, I failed. Even if not, with the classic attributes. So what is the talk here? Cassandra asked with a rather serious expression. Oh, we were just talking about the tourney that is coming in honor of my father, Eliana said. This has gotten me curious. Are you partaking in it, Sir Gian? I do not fight without a purpose. Gian said, remembering his master's words. A warrior must not fight for unnecessary causes, but he must live by the honorable way, that is to protect the weak and those who need to be protected. That is the only just cause. Besides, it would be a crowded area with far too many eyes staring at him, and he hated those. Why not, good sir? Princess Ariane asked with a curious expression. Isn't the prize worth fighting for? I care not for it. Gian replied without hesitation. What about crowning someone a queen of love and beauty? The love of your life, said the blonde sand woman. That would be so romantic, Princess Ariane said. Would you all agree? Yes. Eliana Stark admitted, and so did Jane Cool and Princess Myrcella. I have no love of my life, he said. Not anymore, at least. Perhaps you haven't looked properly, Lady Tien suggested, but she was wrong. Perhaps I have not. Gian went on with it. It is a shame, really. I would love to have seen you joust, Eliana said. I fear my lady would be disappointed by the lack of skills with a lance. Gian said with a shy smile. You would not disappoint me, sir, I'm quite sure of it, Lady Eliana said. So what gave us the honor of such a visit from my princess and her cousins? Cassandra asked in a weird tone, and Gian was trying to figure out what was wrong with these women today. We were certainly not expecting to so many Dornish people here. We came to visit Lady Stark, my lady. Princess Ariane replied. My uncle was very keen on doing so, and we three were quite curious to see the city. The older ladies over there were Lady Stark's companions when she was a lady-in-waiting to my Aunt Elia. And are you enjoying? Asked Princess Myrcella with courtesy. Very much so, my princess. The Dornish princess said. There are so many wonderful things to see and do. Like visiting the Great September of Baelor, Tien Sand murmured. I think it can be arranged, Princess Ariane said. Would you care to join us perhaps? We Starks follow the old gods, I'm afraid, and so does Jane and Ros. Eliana explained. Our mother taught us some praise of the seven, especially to the mother, but it does seem like an interesting place to visit nevertheless. The old gods, I know so little of them, Princess Ariane admitted. We have no godswood at Sunspear, though I have seen a few besides this one before. The one at Storm's End is bigger than this one and much more ancient, Cassandra said. I liked the place, and it does pity me that there is no godswood at Dragonstone. Hello everyone. Ros said with a smile as she came to join them. Lyra is now comfortably sleeping in her bed, and I decided to return to resume our conversation. Please do take a seat, Ros. Eliana gestured to an empty chair. Gladly. We were talking about a possible visit to the Great September of Baelor with Princess Ariane and her cousins. Eliana briefed her companion. What do you think? It does sound like an interesting place to visit. I told very much the same. Eliana said. We can go there tomorrow or the day after. Princess Ariane suggested. Unless you have other plans. I will speak with Milady first and see what she says. Gian Cassandra called. Lady Stark seems free now, I'm going to talk to her. Okay, Gian said, still troubled with all the people around him. He wished this was to end soon. Maybe I should join the Citadel or the Faith after I do what I must do. No, I wouldn't make it. It would even look more awkward. A Septon staring at women's breasts. Well, there's 7 hells ready for him anyway. Ashura Dane 7. Red Keep, King's Landing, Crown Lands, year 298 AC. A little earlier. I don't know why you are so annoyed to see some old friends, Ashura, Oberyn said while the rest of the Dornish got acquainted with Ashura's children, Ros, Myrcella, and Tommen. You invited us. I invited Jasline, Nysa and Emily, just 3 people, not a dozen of them. Ashura retorted. It will be more fun with all of us. I'm fun, my paramour is fun, my niece and daughters are fun, Daeron is fun, not too sure about Nysa and Emily's husbands, they can't be that bad. The problem is not you all not being fun, for I know everyone is nice. Ashura began explaining. The problem is that the king and certainly the queen will not find it too amusing on a sudden increase of Dornish courtiers. Cersei was already providing Ashura with a dozen of murderous looks as her youngest children preferred the Starks' company over Cersei's tight grip on them, and now 12 more Dornish would make her madder, and to an extent. Ashura had to agree with the woman, as she herself would feel threatened with 24 Lannisters at Winterfell. But isn't your husband the Hand? That ought to mean something around here. Oberyn inquired. Or not? My husband being the Hand doesn't change the fact that you and I are Dornish, Ashura said. They know Dorne is not in the best of terms with Lannisters nor Baratheons. Oberyn's face got more serious. My problem and the problem of Dorne is with Tywin Lannister and his lapdogs Clegane and Lorque. I don't give 2 shits about the Queen or the young Baratheons. The king is a craven who sat in his throne after innocents were killed. But he will have what's coming for him. That worried her for sure. Oberyn, what are going to do? I'm not going to kill the king or his children if that is what you are thinking. Oberyn said. It still does not tell me what you intend to do, so it means it must be something bad. Oberyn, what are you trying to do? She insisted, worried about whatever plan he conceived. Nothing. Oberyn. Have you met Ellaria before? He asked as if to change subjects. I have. Now tell me, what are you planning? And what do you think of my niece and daughters? They are comely looking ladies, but don't you dare change the subject with me, Oberyn, she hissed, tired of it all. Tell me. I don't know what has made you so worried. I have nothing planned, at least that is viable and logical, my friend, Oberyn said. But I know this, what goes around, comes around. Is that why you came? Hoping that I would be the key to your revenge? I came to remind everyone that Elia and her children still did not have the justice they deserved. It has been 15 years since they died, and Lord Arryn brought their bones to us, promising justice, and I have yet to see anything. And you thought my husband will be able to do anything after all this time? Ashura asked. Maybe, he smirked. Or maybe I just wanted to see the most beautiful woman of the 7 kingdoms. Ellaria will certainly appreciate such thing coming from you, Ashura said. And stop changing the subject of the conversation. Between you and me, Ellaria would like to bed you, and judging by the looks of my daughters and niece, she isn't the only one. Tell them I have a husband now. Ashura plainly stated. Now about our conversation. Yes, your letters told me as much, Oberyn interrupted. Is he good in bed? I mean, he seems fertile enough. How many children do you 2 have? 4. 5. 6 children, and he is good in bed. He has a marvelous tongue, and the realization of what she said hit her, and she blushed like a maiden. Oh gods, I can't believe I just said this. Oberyn was laughing non-stop. Maybe we can all share a bed together, you 2, me and Ellaria, and... No. But... No. Ash. My husband is a virtuous man, and I'm a virtuous woman ever since I met him. We don't need more than just us in our bed. Ashura let her point be known. What a pity. Well, I'm sure you and your husband will find a way to get us and the king happy with each other. In the meantime, I'm going to sit by my Ellaria's side. Wait a minute, you can't just... It was too late. Oberyn was gone. Gods be damned, he is hiding something from me, she sighed defeated. How am I supposed to explain all these nice people to the king and queen? Gods. Ashura stood there, thinking on what she could do to fix this. She liked to have some Dornish people with her, but it was too complicated now that she was the Hand's wife and the Queen seemed to have so much power. "Lady Stark, may I have a word with you?" Cassandra asked of her. "Ah, Cassandra, you did came to see us," she said a little bit happier. "Do take a seat and tell me what troubles you." The Baratheon girl took a seat where Oberyn had been. "I received a visitor, a man of my father's trust he sent to bring me back." "Your father is angry at you, is he not?" "I'm angry with him as well," the girl said with the Baratheon fury and stubbornness. "He tells me nothing, so I had to find the answers myself. It doesn't hide the fact that you came here and refused to go. If I am correct, I understand your point, but I also understand your father's." The girl looked a bit conflicted as expected. She had a sharp mind, but she was still a child woman somehow. "The man told me that my mother and Aunt Lysa think it were the Lannisters who poisoned Lord Arryn. The Lannisters? Why would they do it?" She had thought about them, but she didn't believe it possible. Why now? Sir Jaime wouldn't poison anyone, he would challenge them to a fight. Tyrion Lannister did not seem the type to poison a man. Tywin Lannister, he has been at Casterly Rock for 15 years and he would likely gain nothing from it, though she wasn't sure. Was it Cersei Lannister perhaps? But why? Was he putting his nose in a place where he should not? Was Stannis involved in it somehow? God's more trouble for my poor mind. "I must thank you for this information, but I'm feeling rather tired already. I may just go and enjoy a talk with my friends over there and forget about all this for today." "I understand, that can help you feel more at ease, my lady. You should go back to Ros and the other side, they are bound to be more into your line of thought, and I should call Arya here as well to at least introduce herself." "A quick recovery, my lady." "Thank you," Ashura said as she moved to her friends, to have a simple talk like the good old days. Her friends smiled once she approached, just as 15 years ago, and she smiled as well. Jon Stark 3. Winterfell, North, year 298 AC. 7 Hells, Arthur ranted. "What are we to do with all of them?" According to the men-at-arms that his father sent back home, his parents were forced to send the rest of the direwolves back home as Nymeria. Arya's pup bit Prince Joffrey's hand as the little cunt had attacked Jon and Arthur's little sister with a steel sword. "I don't know, we will just have to manage it somehow." Though Jon was failing to find a proper solution, Ghost and Breeze already gave enough trouble on their own, and 4 extra direwolves that were as big as dogs and with their owners miles away wouldn't make things easier. "This isn't ending well, for us at least," Arthur said, sighing. Star and Rune seem rather calm, but Blackie and Nymeria. Jon hated to admit it, but... "Where is Theon? We will need his help." "Where do you think he is, Jon?" Arthur spoke as if it was the most regular of things, and it actually was. "At the brothel again?" Jon asked, but he knew he had got it right. "Gods, he has been there all the time now. Ros and our parents are not here anymore to stop him or entertain him, so you know it was bound to happen sooner rather than later," Arthur explained. Ros was almost like a sister to both he and Arthur, considering that she had been raised by mother since Jon was 2 and Arthur was but a newborn baby. And despite this, both Jon and Arthur had a crush on her, not necessarily love but an attraction of sorts. She was beautiful and kind. It was shame she allowed herself to lay with Theon of all people. She deserved better than Theon because he was a womanizer and cared not for women's feelings. "I will send Horlis to fetch him then," Jon proclaimed as he ignored his thoughts. "We will need all the help we can get to keep these pups at bay. Perhaps Maester Yolen can help us as well. Ghost and Breeze like him well enough, perhaps the rest of them will like him as well." "I will go fetch him then," Arthur began saying and moving before he hit someone. "Hodder!" Hodder announced with his usual bright smile. "Ah, Hodder, you made me hit you. Are you all right?" Arthur questioned, and Hodder seemed to be as he began nodding. Not that Arthur would injure the friendly giant. "This lad always gets me with a smile, and I don't know why," Maester Yolen proclaimed with a smile of his own. The man himself was always smiling and always willing to help someone in need. He could seem like a fool because of his jovial nature, but he was not. He was very smart. At 40 of age he had 7 different chain types. "Maester Yolen, we were looking for you. We are in need of some help," Jon began. "With all these direwolves?" Maester Yolen asked as he eyed them. "Yes. Sure, that is if they don't bite my hand off," he said, laughing. In all truthfulness now, I need my hands. None will bite your hands off, I'm sure, Arthur said, smirking. They will laugh first. And yet another laugh from the maester. Perhaps, he said. We came here to say that we have visitors, my lord. Who is it? Jon asked. Tyrion Lannister and some men of the Watch, Yolen explained. With perhaps some words from Lord Benjen's disappearance. It still soared to both he and his brother that Uncle Benjen disappeared during arranging. He could have been captured by the wildlings, or worse. Let us not make them wait then. Hodder, keep an eye on the direwolves, don't let them leave the stables. Hodder. Hopefully, they would not hurt Hodder, just in case he could send some guards to help him. Once he and his brother were ready to receive the visitors, they moved to the great hall with Jon taking his father's seat. He felt a feeling of pride when he took a seat there, but also of uneasy, that chair did not belong to him yet. Arthur took a seat on Mother's chair while a few guards lined the grey-stoned walls. In the center of the room the dwarf stood with his servants, and 4 strangers in the black of the Night's Watch. Lord Tyrion, forgive us for the time we took, our mother just sent us 4 extra direwolves that need some tending. Jon decided to ignore that one of them tried to bite his nephew's hand off, not knowing how the man would react. He couldn't make much, but all the same. Not many will care much for a dwarf. I do appreciate your apologies though. The dwarf dismissed. I'm quite certain that the direwolves have grown while I was away. They were but pups when I last saw them. I doubt it will be easy to control 6 direwolves that are growing every day. They must twice my size by now. Not yet, I'm afraid. Arthur said, and Jon gave him a stare to stop. His brother simply looked around. I'm sure we will manage it somehow, my lord. Jon proclaimed. We hope you enjoyed your staying at Castle Black. It was pleasant enough, I suppose, considering I was surrounded by rapists and other petty criminals twice my size. I did piss down from the wall. I do wonder if the wildlings will steal me away because of it. I doubt they would, but my father and my sister would be quite happy. From the corner of his eye, Jon could see Arthur smirking with the imp's words. We were told that our uncle disappeared. What can you tell about it? Jon asked the 5 men. They were looking for a ranger named Waymar Royce, son of Lord Royce of Runestone, who disappeared in arranging. One sworn brother of the Night's Watch said. Too long. Yoren the Wandering Crown said. Most likely he's dead by now. I'm sure he is not dead, Jon said. He is the first ranger, it ought to mean something. There's not a man on the wall that knows the haunted forest better than Benjen Stark. The youngest of the Black brothers said in a murmur. He'll find his way back, I'm sure. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, said Yoren with an expressionless face. Good men have gone into those woods before and never came out. Lord Commander Mormont sent out rangers in search of him, but they found nothing. Might have been them wildlings who captured him or killed him, Arthur suggested. Gods, I hope nothing of the sort happened. A good deal of rangers vanished as of late. Tyrion Lannister said. Perhaps the Grumpkins are hungry this year. Don't play with a serious matter, Lord Tyrion. Jon warned him in a commanding voice, trying his best to sound like his father. You and your father have no sense of humor. The imp shook his head. And you too much of it. Arthur said with a mocking tone, earning yet another stare from Jon. Anyway, I saw an inn outside your walls, in Wintertown. I shall find a bed there with a few more coppers. I may find a comely wench to warm the sheets for me. Tyrion Lannister said. Theon Greyjoy is taking hold of them all, Imp Arthur said. You best spend your night here with the other men of the Night's Watch. I assure you the view of Theon Greyjoy coupling with the comely ladies is something you don't wish to see. I must agree with my brother, Jon said with a shy smile. It's not a pretty sight. Oh, so you have some humor in you, that's quite good, the Lannister smiled. Well, if you are all being so kind and I may die upon seeing Theon Greyjoy and the comely ladies, I think I accept the invention. We shall tell the servants to prepare some rooms for you all, Jon stated. But there will not be comely ladies in them. I think I can live with it, for just a day, the imp said. Not more, I'm afraid. Can't let the whores go into debt, can you? Arthur suggested. Exactly. The end.